Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're following me right now, I'm Aspie and I'm all about creating mental health and awareness, sharing my life stories with Asperger's syndrome, along with tips and tricks, or shall we say tips and advice along the way on how to manage and cope with our everyday mental health issues, as well as just some message of support, of hope, and hopefully with those messages of hope will bring some clarity and understanding in your life, regardless what you're going through in your everyday personal struggles. As you're aware right now, basically I'm trying to do as many mental health theories as well as any other videos that I feel close to my heart to share with you all right now. And at this point of time, basically I feel just to try and carry on, as they say, and that despite it all, that it has come to my food for thought that there's some parts missing in some parts of my mental health disorders or just everyday conditions that we go through in our everyday life, of some of the ones that do struggle. So these ones that's going to be broken down to right now is obviously two parts right now, what I'm addressing to you all right now. This one is about, for the first part, will be 11 things you should never say or do to someone who has epilepsy, basically, and what to say to someone with epilepsy. So two parts there. Like I said, some of them will be basically step by step and whatnot. Just as a disclaimer, as always, I'm no medical doctor. If you see any warning signs or symptoms that register or ring alarm bells, seek professional help or second opinion or advice through getting the right treatment and help. So let's begin this of the 11 things you should never say or do to someone who has epilepsy. So, as you know, basically, or are aware, that for most of the people that suffers or goes through their everyday life living with epilepsy, it can be basically short as a hell of a ride for them, and also it can be hard for us that ain't epileptics to know what to say or how to say it, or even act towards that particular someone that has epilepsy. It's no brainer, it's no disease or anything, it's just they're normal human beings, even though they're trapped inside their own body, basically, and that in that point of time of their body, they're also trapped in their mindset, regardless of their mind is like a ticking time bomb. Because obviously, as I said before, what is epilepsy? Obviously, epilepsy is basically a condition that triggers off in the neurotransmitters of the brain, basically, that sends off signals to when they tend to basically know when it's time to let loose. Sometimes also, when it comes down to it, when it's hard to know or what to say, how to say it, act towards the person that's actually having someone that we care about in our circle, be it family, friend, co-worker or whatever, that has a life-threatening medical condition. Okay, with compassion, however. But you got to remember, though, as I said to you all, that like any other medical condition out there, that we need to know what to say and how to say it. And I'm here today to hopefully remove the stigma, stereotyping or misunderstandings, misgivings on how to go about it, obviously. Okay, as we are aware also, there's no medical handbook or for this condition and any other medical situations that we may face, though. However, it's just based on everyday situations, on being self-aware on what's going on and actually knowing how to go about it the right way, and actually not to make the other person feel threatened or whatever it may be. So basically, as you know, these are the 11 steps. So let's begin this. Number 1, don't forever raise an eyebrow and ask the question, is it contagious? As we know, basically, it's not contagious. It's just a genetic thing as well as a neurological condition, regardless of what they go through in their everyday life. Regardless, imagine someone else saying that to you if you didn't have this medical condition. However, how would you feel? It's all about give and take, obviously, and also basically being considerate of others that does have this medical condition, and more of what I've addressed in the past. Number 2, don't forever all of a sudden stop the text messaging or answering the calls or text messages. Obviously, the reason being for this is obviously people with epilepsy, even if they feel that they're under strain, basically being with their family members, they might need the outside support, be it a family member or not family member, a friend, I should say, correction, or some sort of support system out there, so that they know that they are safe, and also being able to trust someone that they can reach out to. Number 3, don't forever start whispering or lowering your voice to ask any questions you may have about epilepsy. It's obviously considered rude, obviously, as we know, in a given of, whispering about people with epilepsy. We shouldn't be afraid, obviously, to ask questions. I'm sure that the person who's epileptic will be open enough to actually share with you or what their life is like having epilepsy and whatnot, but just bear in mind that there may be a certain, boundary line of how much they will give you, so to speak. Sometimes they might want to just be, private, as they say. Number 4, don't say that's sad and that's it. It doesn't even help that person with epilepsy, however. Obviously, basically, we know in a given mindset that many times that we tend to make that mistake that we say this and other things. But hey, it's just all in a given here. Alright, number 5, don't dismiss the person with epilepsy of it's no big deal. Obviously, we shouldn't be saying or thinking this, it's no big deal, because obviously it is to them, because they're the ones living with this life-threatening condition, and that no matter what, that they're trying to properly, do the best they can to live their life without these assumptions and judgment call from us normal so-called people that doesn't have the condition, and that sometimes it's hard enough as it is that, they're properly feeling alone and isolated regardless what it may be. Number 6, don't ask if their condition came from something that the person did. That's a no-no. Number 7, don't say to them, I know how you would feel. The only time you should say this is unless you have been treated the same type of medical condition and you have undergone some form of similar treatments that they're going through of their medications or therapies or whatever that they've been given at that time. So no matter what, just remember what you don't, unless you have been through it, or going through it yourself, then by all means you can actually say this, Number 8, don't say, just be grateful you don't have such as anxiety issues. This is not 100% true. Sometimes with some epileptics, they may have some other underlying medical conditions as well. However, no matter what medical condition we have, however, we shouldn't throw it back at them about it, and that we should be able to just, know that this one, especially for epilepsy, it's a life-threatening condition. And then it's a life-threatening, altering condition that just alters the mind and everything else, and it can also likely to, despite the amount of seizures they have, basically likely to kill them sooner rather than later maybe, but I'm trying to say this as pure bluntly as possible as the truth. You don't need to be reminded, obviously, also about these things can always become worse, because obviously the person with epilepsy will be the one that lives with it, will know about it. Don't say nothing. Obviously, this is a no-no. Obviously, when a family member, friend, etc. wants to reach out to outside support to get advice or support or whatever it may be, basically we need to make sure that they are feeling wanted, loved, supported and needed as well, because obviously sometimes people with epilepsy does take its toll on the ones that doesn't have epilepsy, and they need to take that time out period for themselves. A lot of people are afraid and don't know what to say, obviously, the ones that either has epilepsy, because some people that are epileptic may not be wanting to reach out for help, or vice versa, the ones that are their family members or friends basically may not know what to say and how to reach out for help when it time comes. Obviously, basically not saying anything at all basically will make the person with epilepsy or without basically more isolated and alone, however, so it's best to say something and nothing at all, however. Number 10, don't treat the person any differently. What I mean here, obviously, like any other medical condition I've shared about of these mental health issues, basically we need to just treat them the way we want to be treated, and obviously treat them just the same as we would treat others. Basically, just treat them the way and how you know in them, and the relationship, friendship, or whatever it is. They'll notice the difference as well, however. They just want to be treated the same amount of respect, dignity and compassion like any other person, because after all, they're still human as well. Last but not least, don't do more of the person than they're comfortable for others that does it. obviously what I mean here is sometimes they just don't want to feel like they're an invalid or they're like a little child, basically, when they're not, obviously, because this can be so degrading and just off-putting for them, obviously, for them to do so. Independence is key for them and very important for the ones that are epileptics, so that they can try and find ways for themselves to live independently in any way they can. Well, basically this ends what not to say to an epileptic. Give me a like for thumbs up for support, comment below if I missed out anything, or comment below if there's any of the ones that what to say or not to do, basically, to the ones that are epileptic. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, because as I said, I'm hoping to do it weekly or even just on the daily. Feel free to share these videos around, because as I said, some of these videos right now that I'm sharing needs to be addressed and hopefully create as an awareness, understanding, and whatever else. Feel free to follow me on my social media sites, AspieAnswers, all on Twitter, Facebook, as well as on my Instagram. I still have some others, social media sites that I'm hoping to put down there, but I'm not sure as of yet, because as I said, things are changing up on the daily for me at the moment. So all to do, guys. Thanks for the support, thanks for watching. Do what you love what you do. Until next time, Aspie signing out. Have a great day. And the